The importance of sex education cannot be overemphasized. What are parents' roles to this topic? Do parents actually shy away from their responsibility of sex education? This is Afro Issues, and on today's wonderful episode, I'll be having wonderful guests in the presence of Pastor Mrs. Ebere and Mr. Festus. Welcome the both of you to Afro Issues. Alright, let's talk about sex. Pastor Ebere, let me start with you. What is sex education?
Sex education actually is getting our children informed about sex, what it entails. What is sex? Sex is intimacy between a man and a woman. Though in the days we live in, we find that even men have sex with men and ladies with ladies, but in the original context, sex is intimacy between a man and a woman, and is primarily a function of husband and wife. But we find ourselves in the society we live in now, where teenagers, children get involved in sexual activities because they were not properly informed right from their childhood. But I believe that the problem of sex education actually started with a lack of sexuality education. What is sexuality education? Okay, sexuality education is actually introducing the child basically from 3 years old,
Okay.
about the functions of the body. Sexuality education involves letting the child know from 3 years. As soon as the child can recognize the various parts of the body, the child should be educated on the importance of the various parts of the body. The child needs to know that there are public parts of the body and there are private parts of the body. The public parts of the body is for everyone. Anyone can see the public part of the body, like the hand, your face, your legs. That there are private parts of the body which is meant for the person alone. Nobody else should see it and nobody else should touch it.
Okay, Mr. Festus, what do you have to say regarding to the parents who shy away from the fact that they are supposed to teach their kids on sex education?
Yeah, many parents shy away from teaching their children about sex education because they believe the subject matter is a no-go area. They
Okay.
believe that when they get to school, they will be taught. So when they eventually get to school, they end up mixing up with their peers, and most of their peers, they still don't know anything about sex education, so they learn it from wrong hands. Thereby they become prone to victims of sexual harassment.
Okay, Pastor Ebele, I believe you know that yes, in school, sex education is being taught, right? And I believe you know that you can give a child, you can educate a child on sex, but I believe you know that a child has the right to feel like, okay, yes, mommy has told me I shouldn't let anyone touch me or do this or do that. But I believe you know that a child can go contrary to what you may have taught the child.
Yes. One thing that God has given to each and every one of us is the right to choice. Okay, but the child needs to know the consequences that follows flaunting such information or such instruction as has been given to the child. Okay, the child needs to know, like especially for the girl child, she needs to know that when you get in premature sexual activities, if you get involved, you are likely going to be the one to suffer it. The child gets pregnant, the girl child is the one that drops out of school.
I think the problem we are having in this sex education issue is due to the fact that the parents don't say it the way it is.
Yeah.
They
because
try
of cultural issues.
Yeah, they try to paint it in a lighter mood. when they are supposed to,
sometimes
hit the point.
Exaggerate it even.
Yes.
A parent, I remember when I was growing up, my mom would tell, if you let a guy touch you, you just get pregnant.
Which is wrong.
And we grew up thinking that once you side by side with a guy, pregnancy occurs, which is wrong information.
So do you think this whole thing has anything to do with religion?
It's both. I think religion is actually trying to create sanity, in the sense that the religion is like trying to inhibit people from exploring sexual activities. I think it's more of cultural barriers.
Okay.
Our culture does not really allow us to be free in discussing sexual matters.
Okay.
So we find that the parents don't feel free to actually educate the children properly. It's actually primarily the responsibility of the parents, because if you're waiting for school, it's not really part of the curriculum of the school to educate the children about sexual activities. They just give you, little information as far as sex and implications of it are concerned.
But do you know, in some schools, they don't have anything to say to the kids on sex education?
Some schools
They don't talk about it. We are talking about the parents now. We don't even see the teachers. Okay, you send your child to school, you expect the teacher to impact knowledge on most things.
But when the responsibility of the teacher.
Yes, it's not a responsibility.
Because it's not part of the curriculum.
No, it is.
No, it's not.
Okay,
So,
when I went to
anyway,
they teach you biology and reproductive and all this stuff.
Okay.
Which is not really sex education.
It is part of. The teacher has a contribution to make in teaching the students sex education.
What about the boys?
No.
Don't they need to be taught about this?
Everyone needs to be taught about sex. Like I said, start from sexuality education. If you start from sexuality education, you will not find it difficult to introduce sex education. When the child is 3 and can identify various parts of the body, let the child know that there are certain parts of the child, whether boy or girl, that should not be touched and should not be seen. Because we find that parents themselves are the ones that buy clothes that are very body revealing right from when the child is in the early childhood stages. When you buy a cloth that the girl is wearing and halfway is open, the stomach is open, the child grows up with that mentality that the body can be exposed. So the child grows up wearing half cloth, the boobs are all out, your belly covering the nipples, and you go out there feeling cool. Basically, sexuality education has to do with letting the child know that there are private parts that ought not to be touched by anybody.
Yes, madam, like what you're trying to say. I understand your sexuality, the explanation of your sexuality education. But what I believe is this name should be called, like some parents, if a child asks them, "Mommy, what is sex? What is fuck?" All those things, they don't explain it very well to the child. And when you don't do these things,
the level of
they get it outside.
The level of information you give to the child should be dependent on the child's level of understanding.
Okay.
At 3 years old, I expect you to just teach the child that his breast, his penis or his vagina is a private part and should not be touched by anybody, even you, the mother and the father. When you're betting a child that is up to 3 years, teach the child to wash the vagina by herself while you supervise. Don't, because at that stage, believe you me, the child feels libido, has libido already.
Okay.
It's already in you. God is not about to create it in you, it's there. Even though the child cannot explore it yet, but if you touch the girl's vagina, she gets sensations, even though she cannot explain it, but it starts from there. So you start from when they are small to curb activities that plays around sex. If you don't curb it at then, psychologists have it that by age 9, personality is already formed in an individual.
Yeah.
By age 9. So if you don't start on time, by the time you're starting by 9 years, some children are already sexually active. I know of a case of a counseling we had sometime in a school and a child of 9 had been experiencing sexual abuse right from age 9. So if you're waiting for the child to become an adolescent before you begin to introduce sex education, the child is already way over abused.
Come to think of it, there are some parents who don't, yeah, we know it's quite obvious and everybody knows. There are some parents who don't talk about this. They don't tell their kids about it. If that you follow us very well, she had to tell the mom about it. She opened up to the mother, but the mother had to was like, okay, wait, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because it's
you get, so
it's really hard
sometimes
to believe.
these kids actually tell their parents about it, but they shy away from it. They don't want to talk about it. Do you know that some of these children do this out of fear?
That's why you need to educate them that they need not be. In fact, your private part is the. I tell my children, anybody that plays around your private part, slap the person and report to me.
This sex education that we are hitting on, we really need to talk on the roles of parents. And when I mean the roles of parents, I'm not talking about parents teaching the children about sex education. What I mean is, these parents, most of them don't know anything about sex education, so they need to be taught these things so that they can teach their children. Most of these parents are young parents who we are forced to become parents.
So how do you mean by forced to become?
Most of them were not ready, they were not prepared to do it.
So, okay, so maybe they were also victims of maybe premarital sexual activity.
Yes.
Who knows?
Who knows?
And they got pregnant and somehow marriage started. Okay.
Looking at it in this point, when a parent is maybe at the parlor or sitting room, let me use sitting room, maybe the person is seeing a television, right, and two people are kissing in that television, and the little girl is there. Next thing, hey, get inside the room, get inside the room. You are not meant to cover your face. But that same parent is giving that child a phone, right?
Yeah.
A cell phone. You can think with it. Come on, mom, that thing you don't want me to see on television. I have my phone. So what do you have to say about parents that try to shy away from the fact that these kids knows this, and still you give the child a phone? Sorry. And still you give the child a phone, and you don't still want to talk about this. No, you don't want to talk about sex education. You feel is bad.
I believe that there is time for everything. When you want to give a child mobile device, a child who is underage, you shouldn't give the child a phone or a tab that is not controlled, censored. There are tabs you can give that, like some of this MTN tab for kids.
Yeah.
It is controlled. You can't enter into any app you want. So give them controlled apps that they can use for their age. And then when a child is with you watching a television or a movie, and first of all, you shouldn't put a movie that is not within the age of the child. Usually they will tell you the movie you're about to watch is from age 16. Then please do not on the TV in the presence of the child. Don't watch that movie.
Yeah, most parents
the child's age can carry.
Most parents who are not educated, they have money, they buy devices, mobile device, and their children operate it more than them, better than them. And the phone industry
put a password on your phone.
is one of the biggest industry around the globe. And it's people that watch it. Mostly parents, they do watch it.
Destroying them. It's the parents that are destroying the children.
Yes.
Yeah. If you have so much money and you want to buy whatever device you want, get your own and get the child's phone. Because usually when my son wants my phone, he wants to play football. That's the only game he has there. He wants, and you see him that is playing football. But it still boils down to the right information at the right time. The children you are raising need to know that there are programs they are not allowed to watch. Train them not to watch what they are not supposed to watch.
Seriously, God made it.
Yes. Sex is not for any other person, it's for married couples. They need to know. They need to know. Because when you don't inform them, they go out there and get wrong information from people on the street.
Even not they don't even need to go out, right? Even within them, you can see the case of a parent or parents living in the house with a nanny, right? They got a nanny for the child. Okay, fine. You come up in the morning, you take your bath, you leave. You don't know what the nanny is doing with your child at home.
That is a disaster waiting to explode in our society. Check this society out in the next 5 years. There's going to be an eruption of, terrible events. Because we are raising children now who don't have parental guidance at all.
Yeah.
They are being raised by maids who cannot offer them what they don't have.
Madam, I understand you're talking from religious aspects. You're trying to tell us that sex is for married people.
Oh yes, that's how it was made from the origin.
But don't you think? Yes, I know where you're coming from. But don't you think that an adult should be allowed to make a choice if you want to engage in sex or not?
No, the adult can be allowed to make a choice. It's okay.
And not
but
until he's
also let
married.
the adult know that there are consequences. Like I tell young girls, please listen to me, young ladies. If you allow a man touch you, you can be sure that the man does not need to go and pay for what he has access to. If I have access to you, why should I come and pay for what is free? Please tell me, why should I pay for what is free? Your body is free, so why should I struggle? But if the young lady holds herself back, the man will hurry up and go and pay bride price. But if the thing is available, me, if I'm a man, I will not pay for what is available. I will enjoy what is available. And you see, the young girls themselves are destroying themselves by themselves because of this same sex education that they have been denied. Okay? If you educate them properly right from the onset, they will understand that this body is all the assets they have. Preserve it. And a man will do everything to ensure that he quickly comes to bring the person home. A young girl packs her things and goes to live with a man. What do you expect?
So, but from what you're saying, it means you are encouraging the girls to manipulate the guys into coming to pay for their...
It's not manipulation. It's not manipulation. You are into a relationship. You want to get married. You're into a relationship, and I know they say define your relationship, right? Where is this thing?
Most guys don't define anything.
And you've been with me for the past a year, 2 years, and you're 4 years.
No, this issue of chop and go. Why are you saying that? Is it not the two of them that are enjoying it?
Which kind of enjoying it? Who suffers it?
What's the suffering in it?
The girl is the one that gets pregnant. The one is the girl is the
one that
suffers
from sex.
social stigma.
There are means to stop pregnancy from occurring.
People
you can use protection and still have sex and enjoy it.
It has become public property.
It's not like that.
Nobody says that about it.
Is how you're seeing it? We are seeing it in the side of it.
It's what I have observed. And again, okay, look at it.
But you mustn't get pregnant.
Okay, look at it. Two people enjoyed it, Abby.
Yes.
It's the girl that got. Sometimes your condom fails. Sometimes it fails. The girl gets pregnant.
What percentage?
The girl is the one.
It doesn't fail like
that.
Even if
it's at least it fails.
It doesn't fail like that.
It fails.
Yeah, seriously.
The girl is the one that gets pregnant.
Anyway,
that suffers abortion.
Anyway, madam, what I'm trying to say is this sex education is good. We teach them. It's good the school teach them. It's good the parents teach them.
The society
actually should also get involved.
And the government should
but
get
it's also
involved.
good that they should be they should be made to know.
I was in India for something. I was in India for a medical thing. I took a daughter of mine to India, and I observed that on their telly, whenever there is a sexual scene, they block it.
Censor.
The TV, the censor, they block it. Whenever somebody picks a cigarette, they block it immediately. So why can't now? Why is it that Nigerian government just doesn't do anything?
Well,
the reason why you're hearing this is because they are more like conscious of these things. So every little case of it springs to network news. But in our country, rape happens here every day. I've been on counseling, and I found out that girls are even being more raped by their fathers than even uncles. Have you ever heard that?
I've heard that. Of course, I know about that.
So you hardly hear it because we will not air it. We air what we want people to hear. We don't air those obscene things. But in India, it becomes news because it is not a norm there. It's not a norm. That's why you're hearing it everywhere. Once it happens, do you know when we were growing up? I found out that, then I was small, I didn't understand very well. There was this particular guy that was living in our compound. And I found that when people are going to work, he sneaks back home. and he want to send little girls to go and buy things for him. And when you bring, instead of collecting the thing, he's trying to pull you inside the house. It was much later when I learned about pedophiles that I realized he was a pedophile.
Yeah.
Manipulating and molesting young girls. Then, that we didn't understand. I remember that I had to snatch my hand away from him one of the times, and I refused buying things for him ever since.
Still, we land back to sex education. We've come to the end of today's program. Thank you very much, Mr. Festus and Pastor Ebele. It's great or nice having you in our show today. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.